Isn't vacationing great? It's the perfect time to relax, unwind, and take time off from work or the daily grind. It could increase your mental health, boost your energy, and possibly up your productivity. And what's better than taking a vacation alone? Taking a family vacation. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Have you ever traveled with kids? They're so needy. But the truth is, taking a family vacation will reinforce quality time, allow children to unwind from school, homework, sports, and every other activity they are involved in. Not to mention, you're creating memories that will last a lifetime. Although I may not consider family vacations a great accomplishment, I do consider them a great learning experience, academically and culturally. Over the next few minutes, you may see some great fashion in the 90s and early 2000s, a possible mullet or two, and definite dad shoes. However, I hope you see the need to continue traveling with your family, no matter how old you get. Fort Worth, Texas is one of the first vacations I recall. We traveled nearly 9 hours to visit my aunt, uncle, and cousins. This is where my love for lake life and tubing started, thanks to my uncle's boat. Today, I love to be out on the water relaxing, tubing, or even skiing, and I owe that to my childhood experiences. At 7 years old, my family took a very large vacation. We drove from Falls City, Nebraska to Jacksonville, Florida to visit the beach and my great aunt. From there, we went to Orlando, where we stopped at, you guessed it, Walt Disney World, every kid's dream. Known as the happiest place in the world, it doesn't matter what age you are to be able to experience the magic at Disney. Since this family vacation, I have had the opportunity to visit Disney World 3 other times, the most recent being a little over a month ago. While I may never see the castle as a pink cake again, I can truly enjoy experiencing new attractions with each visit. This is where my love for roller coasters and theme parks stem. On the way home from Disney World, we stopped in Huntsville, Alabama to visit another aunt, uncle, and cousins. We explored the city and visited the United States Space and Rocket Center. Although my uncle works for Boeing and not NASA, he was still able to score us a food package astronauts eat in space. I remember that M&M candy was the only appealing food at the time. Jumping ahead a few years, my family visited a Midwest icon in the Black Hills of South Dakota, Mount Rushmore. Not only did I learn they used dynamite in the creation of the president's heads through a process called honeycombing, but I also learned of a room intended to be created behind the monuments and hold documents of the United States history. During this trip, we also learned of Indian artifacts from tribes across North America, as well as acquiring some rocks from the Crazy Horse Monument, which is still in progress. But the most memorable thing from this trip was the camping experience. While roughing it for a few days, it was here I learned to always make sure garbage is out of sight from lurking animals at night. Another Midwest family-friendly city is Branson, Missouri. This vacation was spent exploring more museums, having fun at Silver Dollar City, racing go-karts, and watching the Dixie Stampede. While we learned a lot about the city of Branson, more importantly, we made memories as a family. Like all my vacationing experiences, this trip influenced me to want to travel more. The last trips we took before my brother graduated high school was a trip through southern Texas. On the way to South Padre Island, we stopped a few days in San Antonio. Here, we experienced the beautiful Riverwalk, explored the Alamo, and tasted the unique cuisine. No longer an elementary student, I was able to appreciate the cultures I was learning about and about to experience. Leaving San Antonio, we were headed to Padre to visit yet another aunt. It is now that I realize many of our vacations revolved around visiting family members. While we were fortunate to spend time on the beach, it wasn't until we crossed the border into Mexico that I truly experienced a way of life much different than mine. Many people who visit Mexico are on a resort much like a place in the United States, but crossing the border from Brownsville, Texas was no resort. I remember the streets being very crowded, lined with shops full of handmade crafts and other souvenirs. I stood out with my blonde hair and blue eyes. Evidently, this was a sign of good luck and fortune, and many people would stop and stare and even ask to touch me. The last family vacation my family took was in 2011. All grown and out of the house, we decided to celebrate my dad's 50th birthday in Vegas. While time may have been spent on more leisure activities, we still managed to throw in some educational experience by visiting the Hoover Dam. This trip allowed us to reconnect and escape our duties of college and careers. It has been 7 years since my last family vacation, but that doesn't mean I have stopped exploring. Traveling as a kid has inspired me to keep the adventure going as an adult. I love seeing new places, trying new foods, diving into leisure activities, and witnessing how other people live. 2 years ago, I was able to travel to a city I've never been to before, San Diego, California. This was my first time on the West Coast. I had so much fun exploring the sea caves, viewing the sea lions, and touring Coronado Island. Although the water was much colder than the East Coast and the Gulf, it was still beautiful. While in San Diego, I also took the opportunity to try some amazing seafood and to explore the USS Midway. I guess you could say visiting many educational sites as a kid has inspired me to keep learning as an adult. Plus, I have so much information to share with my elementary students. As mentioned earlier, this summer I was able to visit Walt Disney World for the 4th time. You may be thinking, doesn't that get old? The answer is no. Disney is always expanding and changing. Plus, there's so much to see, you can't possibly fit it all in one trip. I would love to go in 2021 for the 50th anniversary, since I was lucky enough to go for the 25th anniversary. Lastly, just last week, I was able to float the Niobrara and see Smith Falls near Valentine, Nebraska. While the rain put a damper on camping, it was still enjoyable to view new sights. I love hiking at Indian Cave State Park, which is less than 15 minutes from where I live. I hope to explore more of Nebraska's natural beauty one day. Because of family vacations, I was able to do some of my best learning, not only about history and geography, but about cultures and diversity. I was able to have a close connection with my family and create memories that have lasted a lifetime. While I don't have kids of my own yet, I can't wait to vacation with my niece. I hope she values traveling as much as the rest of us do.